fellow hunters, cameramen, and self-filmers. We are here with another edition talking about self-filming and the setup. My name is David Giarrizzo from Team Tag and Brag. I'm here on behalf of 4th Arrow, and we're going to show you how we set up self-filming, or I should say the ideal setup for self-filming. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you self-film in general? Well, number one, it's one less person in the tree to be seen, heard, and smelled. Number two, you might want to show people, whether it's family, friends, the internet, your hunts, and bring them along your journey with you. There's the obvious one that we're not all TV stars and we all don't have cameramen. And then there's the fact of, well, if you didn't film it, it never really happened. Now we picked this spot because this spot is our ideal location to set up and successfully self-film one of your hunts. Why? I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, a majority of the time in this stand, you are in the shadows. You gotta be in the shadows. The reason for this is because when you're self-filming, you have no choice but to make movements to prepare yourself for the shot. And I can tell you one thing right now, if you're out in the blaring sunlight trying to make movements on a keen deer, especially a mature deer, it ain't gonna happen. You think about it, and it's hard enough to shoot a deer with a bow as it is, but then to be able to put a camera in your hands as the hunter, film it, and get the shot on film is pretty crazy. There's a lot of movement that has to go on, and that is why staying in the shadows, or the ability to stay in the shadows, is so important. Number two, this stand sets up so that a majority of the deer movement, or the known deer movement, is gonna be in front of you. Think about trying to self-film something when the deer is back there. Other than relying on this angle right here, it ain't gonna happen. So setting yourself up where you can move the camera arm and the majority of the deer's movement is in front of you is crucial to maximizing your success while self-filming. And number three, and probably my favorite one, is this tree sets up perfectly for multiple opportunities and places to put second angles. Second angles are an integral part of self-filming a hunt. They capture the raw emotion in real time. They also show everything that you have to do as a self-filming bow hunter to get in the position with not only the camera, but also your bow to get a shot. So one of the things that we like about this tree so much, there's multiple second angle opportunities to set up in this tree. If you have this tree back here, you could use a screw and mount on. This tree, the bow hanger, another bow hook right here, and there's branches all back here where you could clamp something onto. So you could be very versatile in your second angles throughout the hunt. It's so important to have the tree arm as a right-handed shooter, to have the tree arm on your right side so that you can have your bow or whatever weapon of choice ready in your left hand and being able to control the camera with your right. You want the tree arm set up about hip level, or right around hip level. That allows you easy access to your camera arm and your remote, and it allows you to be close enough to see the action on your viewfinder. If it's too high up here, you have the potential to block some of your shooting. If it's too low and you got to reach down and you're not able to see the viewfinder, you may be out of focus, you may be out of exposure, and you just may not capture that hunt with the quality that you could have. All right, now let's talk about second angles. Second angles are probably the most important part of the hunt. At this point for Dean and I, if we don't have the hunt captured on not only our main camera, but at least one, if not two, other second angles, we consider it a failed mission. It's one thing to be able to zoom in on a deer and watch that arrow go right through it. But as a self-filmer, I can appreciate what it takes to set up and get ready for that shot. And the only way you're gonna be able to show that is through a second angle or two. Ideally, I want two different second angles. I want one over the shoulder and I want one facing me, if possible. Anything over the shoulder has a good chance of you catching the shot on a second angle and a second perspective. So if you think about it, it really saves you if for some reason you can't get the main camera on. The one in front of you, facing you, brings you into the hunt. Now you can see all of my reaction, all of my raw emotion, how I was looking, feeling, and preparing for the shot at hand. This facing angle, to me, is the most important because it allows the viewer to be in the stand with you and feel that emotion right along with you. When a deer's out in front of me, I can switch from a close-up of the deer in the plot to this angle, back to the deer, to this angle, and show you multiple perspectives of this hunt in a very short amount of time and in real time. Now for second angles, we obviously have this DSLR behind us, which I do normally have with mics set up to it, but these GoPros are two easy ways to get that point of view and those second angle shots. The other thing is now, after I shoot the deer, I can follow the deer in the camera, make sure I can literally review the footage of that deer running away until he's out of sight or until he falls over so that I can better examine the shot. And then I can turn to my second angle and have my reaction naturally. There's nothing I dislike more than seeing somebody talking to a camera and the camera's facing up, because all that camera's gonna see is a dark face and a blown out white sky. And it gives you no perspective of where you are and what's in the background of that hunt. Also with second angles, I like to have at least one within arm's reach so that I can turn it on manually. And I'll normally put that over my left shoulder so that when I go to grab my bow, I can click that on, grab my bow, and I know if I haven't gotten this angle on, I at least have one second angle going so that I can capture the hunt from two different perspectives. You can see how much easier this is when I can be leaned up against this tree in the shadows. Camera is on the same side of the tree and facing where the main deer movement is going to occur, and I can have my bow in my left hand ready to go, so that as soon as that deer gets into the point where I can make the shot, I can set my camera, I can draw my bow, and I can be ready to shoot. As soon as I hit that deer, he runs away, I'm following him, he's out of sight. And now I can have a reaction to any one of my second angle cameras. I can leave that one on for audio, and I'm good to go. So to recap a little bit, 3 of the most important factors when setting up a spot to self-film are: you gotta be in the shadows. That also means that the tree that your tree stand is in should have some cover around it. Number 2, if you can set up knowing that a majority of the deer movement is going to happen in front of you, it's going to give you much better odds to catch pre-roll and footage of that deer before you get the shot. And number 3, pick a tree that gives you multiple different options to catch second angles on film. This outreach arm from Fourth Arrow is a great tool to catch the second angle facing you. It literally screws right into the tree. There's 3 adjustments that go out to almost 5 feet, and you can adjust this camera to get as close or far away as you need it so that you can catch that frontal second angle and really capture the raw emotion of the hunt. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment, message us at Fourth Arrow. We hope that this helped and can add some value to you. Visit fourtharrow.com to pick up any of these products so that you can start self-filming your hunts. And maybe this year, you'll be successful on your first self-filmed hunt.